This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh, won the Home Run Derby last night. The MLB All-Star Game will go on tonight, live from Atlanta at 5 o'clock. The AL and NL is currently a pick 'em at -110, with the run total set at 7.5. And Chiefs guard Trey Smith reached a 4-year, $94 million, making him the highest paid guard of all time. Sauce Gardner is also now, as of 20 minutes ago, the NFL's highest paid corner with a 4-year, $120 million contract. Anderson's drain stoppage guarantee solves issues for $63 or it's on the house. Nobody wows clients like they do. Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air has been privileged to serve over 500,000 residential clients for more than 45 years. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
No fluff, just facts.
Everybody in the country wants the Big Dumper to win, and I get that. Cal Raleigh's been the best story, but when the entire public is one way, what do, Sammy?
We fade the public.
You want to, make sure you're respecting others.
Thank you. Fade the public. Cal Raleigh's not winning this thing.
The Big Dumper is your home run derby champion for 2025.
That's absolutely wrong.
Take the blame.
Now it's time to enter the Fletch Zone.
Cool, CJ. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you so much.
CJ's calling us out, dude.
It's San Diego Sports 760. How's everybody doing today on a Tuesday? Welcome, man. My name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. We are with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. I do feel personally attacked by the Big Dumper, by CJ, but that is a rule of this show. If the public is all saying one thing, we go the other way.
Yeah, we go the other. Now you know what it's like when I lose long shots.
I mean, I'm not going to stop just because of one night, kind of boring night. Sorry, home run derby.
Well, yeah.
But the Big Dumper did win. Congratulations to him. It is cool. Let's go through the positives first of the home run derby from last night. First time a catcher's ever won it. First time since Ken Griffey Jr. that a Seattle Mariner has won it. So congratulations. That's the cool. There was a couple heartfelt moments on the broadcast, and that's about all the nice things I have to say about the home run derby. And I don't really know what the problem was. They were close, a lot of them, outside of Jazz Chisholm, who got 3 home runs in the first round.
We called the under on that, but the rest of our bets sold.
But it just didn't feel like there was much gravitas or bravado to the home run derby this year. And maybe it was the names that were in it. That could very well be it. Maybe it was there was no Aaron Judge, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr. But it did feel like something was lacking last night. And Sammy, we haven't talked about this, but did you feel the same way? It felt like something was missing.
No, I'm with you on that. It felt like I can't put my finger on it. Like I watched the whole thing, but it wasn't. Yeah, it felt very anticlimactic. I think to your point about the fact that there weren't these big names outside of the diehard baseball fans. Like if you're a casual baseball fan,
you might not know who Cal Raleigh is.
No, the only person you might know in that whole thing was Matt Olson because he's been in the league the longest. Like a lot of the other Caminero, I mean, those are not like household names. It was. I don't know. It's just a little goofy. Like everyone.
And I don't think a lack of household names is necessarily a bad thing, especially in something like this where it's a one-off and you're highlighting personality. Like sometimes that can go really well. And maybe it's on the guys last night because I didn't feel much personality coming from anyone, especially the Big Dumper, who quite notably the biggest thing about him is his butt.
That was the only cool thing about it, I think, was
his butt.
That his dad was pitching and his brother was behind the plate. Like
it is crazy. His dad's beer belly is like equidistant of Cal Raleigh's butt.
Yeah,
they're just in reverse positions.
Maybe that family, man. It just felt. Yeah, it was Texas 70470 starting message with the team.
I'm curious how many people watched it.
Yeah,
did you sit through start to finish? I did, and I got to be honest, I was pretty disappointed.
I was like found myself in the final 4 rounds waiting for it to end. I was like, I'm gonna watch the end of this because we're on a sports talk show host, so I feel like I should know what's going on. But I was like, I kind of was ready for it to end.
Maybe it's just the way things are in 2025, but I found myself gravitating towards TikTok quite a bit last night. I did the Wordle last night for the first time in months while I was watching
all the time.
So did I. I had a streak going for a long time, then I lost once and I put it away. Guess what I found last night? Wordle. I got back on it.
There's something about All-Star games, like maybe it's just me.
It was cool seeing Baby Machado. Congratulations to Manny, his wife. I think that was Baby Machado's first big public appearance.
Yeah. I just All-Star games are so out of sight, out of mind for me. With what, like the Pro Bowl is a disgrace to football. I won't even watch it. It drives me nuts when
the worst thing that ever happened to Sammy Long was the Chiefs winning as many Super Bowls as they have, because it's made everything else in sports like irrelevant. He's like, unless it's a Super Bowl, I don't even care.
I won't watch the Pro Bowl even if the Chiefs are playing. It's disgusting. It's a shame to to football. The NBA All-Star Game is an absolute joke. That thing's ridiculous. The score is 200 to 200. I mean, it's insane. The one okay kind of game is tonight because they are actually playing. Like, you will see guys hit 100 on the gun because they're playing one inning. But I don't know. It's All-Star games when they used to really mean something felt like something, and maybe it'll surprise me tonight. Maybe I'll be really into it. I'm going to be watching tonight, but I don't know. It's just kind of not high on my list.
And baseball used to be the shining example of an All-Star game meaning something, because baseball used to determine who was going to get home field advantage in the World Series. It was if the National League won, the National League got home field advantage. American League, same thing. And there was definitely one year where that determined the outcome of the World Series. It was one of the Giants World Series. I don't remember which one, if it was 10, 12, or 14. But I think it was the catcher, Brian McCann. Way back when.
Yeah.
He hit like a walk-off double in the All-Star game, and then that ended up leading to the Giants having home field advantage, and they win the World Series. But now there's nothing on the line in this game. I think the MVP of tonight is going to get a big cash prize and maybe a shiny new Corvette or something. Congratulations!
I just think maybe it's just not marketed for us. The All-Star week in any sport is real. I get it. It's cool for the kids. They're catching the foul balls. It's a very family oriented thing. It is cool seeing all the players with their families. It's kind of a nice off. That's a cool thing. But yeah, it's just, it used to be like 20, 30 years ago when we see the highlights of, just flipping to the NBA for a second, Kobe and Michael literally guarding each other. And it meant something. Like, these guys were trying to prove I'm number one. And just to kind of all the rest of the All-Star games, again, it's happening tonight. Maybe we're going to see a fight break out. Maybe it'll be fun, but it doesn't move the needle for me.
I don't want to be a whiner or a complainer. I'm just telling you how I felt about last night, and maybe tonight will be completely different. I'm excited to watch it. We got 4 Padres in this game: Robert Suarez, Jason Adam, Manny Machado, and Fernando Tatis Jr. And I think Fernando Tatis Jr. is the most surprised person of them all to actually be there, but he's there, and that's cool. Kevin Acee is there. We're going to talk to him coming up at 1:30. Maybe it felt different in appearance last night if you were in person. So curious to see that. I guess the sports radio take I have surrounding last night would be much like a lot of the players who were competing in the home run derby. The home run derby kind of ran out of gas. And you saw that as it got into the later rounds. Some of the distance, some of the huge home runs that we saw early on were definitely tailing off towards the end. I felt the same about the broadcast.
619 said Cruz hitting bombs off the top of the park was the only thing that caught my attention for a minute. Yeah.
O'Neal Cruz is sick, dude.
That was like, the ones that were crushed were fun, but it felt like as the rounds go on, you need to change it up a little bit or something. It's very repetitive. It's like fun for a couple minutes. You're like, all right, now they're just hitting home runs left and right.
Maybe this is an us problem, because I remember being a kid. I loved the home run derby. It was like my favorite thing ever. And I really liked the NBA All-Star game. Maybe they haven't changed, Sammy. Maybe we've changed.
Maybe we have.
Maybe we're the problem.
We're just Scrooges. I just spilled water all over this board right
Good. Let's see if it works. All right. Time for the big 3. Sammy, smash the button, baby.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
All right, we got Acee coming up at 1:30. If you want to watch the show, you can. 2 separate ways for you to do it. On X, it is at Fletch and Sammy. At Fletch and Sammy on X. And then on YouTube, it's at San Diego Sports 760. That one stays live all the way through John and Jim. Sammy, where are we starting?
All right, so 2 massive deals get handed down in the NFL today. Sauce Gardner, 4-year, $120 million. Chiefs guard Trey Smith, 4 years, $94 million. What deal is more impactful for you? And are you surprised that Terry McLaurin is the other guy that has not and has commented today that he is frustrated with the lack of mobility in his trade talks?
Terry McLaurin is pissed as of today. I saw some quotes earlier from him. He is not happy with how this thing is going. The Trey Smith one is probably a little more surprising because Sauce Gardner is a superstar, and we saw him getting paid a long ways away. Trey Smith broke records. That's the most amount of money ever given to an interior offensive lineman in the NFL. And the Chiefs better cross their fingers and pray that this works out, because you were talking about it before the show, Sammy. There's been 2 separate Super Bowls now where the Chiefs have been let down by their offensive line. This is a problem they had to fix. And obviously last year they were probably getting beat even if they had the best offensive line in the world. But it's a problem they had to fix, and they're paying a lot of money and throwing a lot of money at this issue, and they better cross their fingers and hope.
Yeah, I'm excited about the Trey Smith thing because, listen, you're never going to hear me complain about getting offensive line. The Chiefs have gotten smoked in 2 Super Bowls, and the offensive line has been the primary reason. Patrick didn't play well in the Philly one last year, but still, I mean, he had no time to throw. It was a disaster class. They were in the backfield. It felt like every single play. So I don't know how you let a 26-year-old guard go who is a very talented player. So you're never going to hear me complain with that. You draft Josh Simmons. They're going to move Sua Maitia inside of the left guard spot. Hopefully Jawan Taylor comes off the books next year. Sauce Gardner, makes sense. He is a shutdown corner. He is the guy you look at. It's smart, especially for Aaron Glenn. The first thing you want to do when you're now the head coach of the New York Jets is not let one of your best players go. And so I'm with that. Now, the defense had a lot of problems last year with Sauce Gardner on it, but a lot of that probably had to do with Salah getting fired midseason and get that kind of whole thing there. The Jets are an interesting team to watch. I think that if Fields can be decent or can have somewhat of a Sam Darnold breakout, you do have Quinnen Williams. You do have Sauce Gardner. You got a lot of talent on that defense. It's kind of underrated. But I think both were big deals. I think in the Chiefs side, certainly need to get Trey Smith done because if Trey Smith walked next year, you're only looking at Creed Humphrey and Josh Simmons.
You got another one?
Yeah. This is a fun one I saw on First Take today. Where does the 2020 NFL QB draft class, so to recap for those who don't remember, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love are all in that class. Where does that rank in the last 25 years of quarterback draft classes?
Well, in the last 25 years, it's probably the best. The only one would be was it 04 where it was Rivers, Eli, and Roethlisberger?
Yeah.
That was 04. So, yes, within the last 25 years, that's it. But 1983 is widely considered to be the best Super Bowl draft of all time, and that was John Elway, Dan Marino, and Buffalo Bills quarterback got them to 4 straight Super Bowls.
Jim Kelly.
Lost them all, Jim Kelly. So that draft goes down in history as the best draft of all time, simply just because of longevity and success. The Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger one, you can make a good argument about. I mean, you're talking about 3 dudes who were perennial All-Pros, perennial starters, 3 Super Bowls between the 3 of them, 2 with Eli, 1 with Big Ben, obviously 0 with Phillip. But that, in terms of longevity, is the greatest quarterback draft class of all time. You had 3 bona fide superstar starters in this league for 20 years each. We'll see about this 2020 draft class because we were talking 5 starters currently.
Yeah, 5 stars because you what? Tua, Burrow, Herbert, Love, and Hurts.
That's a pretty damn good draft class, man.
We'll
see about the career of Tua. We have no idea.
Right. So Burrow, 1 Super Bowl appearance, Hurts 2, 1 Super Bowl ring. So there's 1 Super Bowl ring in all 5 of them, but that's Hurts bringing that. Now, the only ones that come close, yes, 2004. Now, they played out their whole careers, so the Super Bowl ring thing's a little bit skewed, but Rivers, Roethlisberger, and Manning, 4 combined there. Obviously, Rivers didn't get one, but Rivers is should be in the Hall of Fame someday. 2018 is interesting. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
It's aging like fine wine, I tell you what, but, especially if Sammy's good this year.
Yeah, right. I mean, if they like those 4, but again, no Super Bowl ring, so I guess you'd have to give it to 2020 where Jalen Hurts does have it. It'll be interesting to see if last year's class, it's obviously way too early to rank them, but last year's class does seem to have the kind of trajectory or upward kind of movement of Jane Daniels is like a superstar. We know what Caleb Williams can be. Bo Nix looks really good. Drake May looks really good. I mean, there's a shot. If we haven't even seen McCarthy play yet, there's a shot that that draft class could be pretty fun. But I saw it on First Take. Thought it'd be kind of interesting.
I like it, man. I want to spend more time on that. Let's do that later in the show.
Because how would you rank that draft class? It'd be Burrow 1.
Yeah, let's save it. We're gonna do it later. You have one quick one we can squeeze in?
Yeah, the Opens this week.
Oh, yes, it is.
So Scotty had a little bit of an odd quote today at the presser talking about this. He said, "What's the point?" He said, "This is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of the deepest places of your heart." He's talking about playing golf. Now, I think I know what he's trying to say. It's a little bit odd when you're at the presser, when you're trying to lock in and win a major, that we're kind of going this deep and how it doesn't really matter. But kind of in a general question, who would you like to see win this tournament? Do you think Scotty, kind of his reign of dominance, would you like to see Rory get back on top after he finished second last week in the Scottish Open? What would you like? Is there someone else you think would be fun to win this tournament?
Scotty Scheffler has just passed over $100 million career earnings from golf, which he just called pointless. I want to make sure I got this right. You're saying
this is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of the deepest places of your heart.
That is the most anti-Tiger Woods comment I've ever heard in my life. For someone, literally the internet had the nerve to compare him to Tiger Woods just earlier this year. They're like, oh, a couple more years like this, Scotty Scheffler could be attacking some of the records. BS, not with that attitude. What a soft mentality, Scotty. Shut up and play golf, dude.
Whoa. This quote gets kind of even rougher. That's something I wrestle with every day. It's like showing up at the Masters every year. It's like, why do I want to win the golf tournament so badly? Why do I want to win the Open Championship so badly? I don't know, because if I win, it's going to be awesome for 2 minutes. Wow. Listen, I like Scotty a lot.
I'm so mad right now.
I like Scotty a lot. He seems like a really good dude. It's kind of surprising.
They should have kept him in jail. They got it right when they arrested him.
Like, but to your point about Tiger, I know you're kidding, but that is a good point.
I'm dead serious. I'm not kidding at all. That is the
Okay.
complete opposite of anything
Right.
Tiger Woods would ever say.
Like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods would never have a quote like this.
Never.
Like this would never happen. And Scotty he's only 29 years old.
Imagine Tom Brady saying, yeah, man, Super Bowls.
Yeah,
What's
who cares?
the point?
It's kind of odd, like especially being a Scotty is someone at age
It's the
29
LeBron quote, dude.
that like we could look back on as being an all-time great golfer, if he already is. It's kind of an odd quote. I don't get it. You know, you see Rory like really trying to win.
Dude, Rory is also taking me off lately.
Yeah,
Maybe Live Golf is the place for us. I don't know.
Rory's all mad at the media. Scotty's saying this. Maybe JJ Spawn, one of these guys, it's time for these guys to rise up and kind of take the mantle, because it seems a little odd ahead of the Open that you're this kind of.
I hope Scotty misses the cut. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got two that we're going to get back to from today's Big Three. Sammy, round of applause for yourself. Well done. That's the best Big Three you've ever done. Let's get back to this quarterback discussion. I like ranking the 2020 draft class. Let's get back to Scotty Scheffler being the softest softy I've ever heard of in my life. That's all coming up on the show today. Kevin Acee at 1:30 at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. It's the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. John and Jim, by the way, they got some Comic-Con passes to give out today. So if you're interested in going, it's coming up next week. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of great stuff there with the new Superman coming out, with Fantastic Four on its way to theaters, which looks awesome. Comic-Con is going to be the place to be in San Diego. So if you want to go, I don't think it's even possible to buy tickets at this point. John and Jim got a pair of badges to give away coming up on their show this afternoon. Speaking of Comic-Con, I had to go full yellow face paint this morning to promote Comic-Con for 1015 KGB in the morning show.
This.
I don't like face paint. I think I'm pretty convinced on that. It was to be like The Simpsons. I was being Homer.
You had a pretty good Homer impression.
I did not even try to do an impression because if I tried, it would fail miserably. But I kind of look like him, I guess, because I'm bald. That's all it takes. I drink beer and I'm bald. So yeah, I'm Homer Simpson apparently. I'm telling, I got nothing. What's the daughter's name or the wife? Marge?
Marge.
Homer.
Homie. Dude,
That's all I got.
Dude, the Simpsons movie. Oh, but Spider Pig. That's like childhood stuff.
I know I'm gonna get flamed for this. I've never watched The Simpsons. I've never seen the Simpsons movie. I've never I've been a Family Guy my entire life, and I know that they steal a lot from The Simpsons. I've just never watched it.
Well, Seth MacFarlane would give like all the you could never have had, and I love Family Guy, but you could never have had Family Guy without The Simpsons.
I acknowledge that. It's just what I grew up with was Family Guy. It wasn't ever The Simpsons. And so I never watched it as an adult. Maybe I should. I'm sure I would love it. I'm sure I would. It's my sense of humor. Conan O'Brien wrote on it for like 5 seasons,
Robert
6
Smigel
seasons.
wrote it, who did Triumph, the Insult Comic Dog. He wrote on it.
So I'm sure it's right up my alley. I just have never watched it. And maybe I deserve to be roasted for that. Hey, Sammy, I need to hear something because there's a pretty special day that today is. I don't know if everyone knows that. We are 50 days away from the start of the NFL season.
Oh, I didn't get it up.
Oh, Sammy, of course you didn't get it up. Constant problem with you.
We're trying to get the horns, but 50 days, Fletch.
Yeah, focus on the horns, dude. We need the horns. 50 days, 11 hours, 36 minutes, and 55 seconds officially away from the NFL season. And I can't wait for it, man. I can't wait to see what trials and tribulations happen this year. There they are. God, I love those horns.
Is there nothing better than the first Sunday Night Football game when you hear the Sunday Night Football intro?
There's nothing better. Except now that it's Mike Tirico and not Al Michaels. Other than that, there's nothing better about it.
Well,
Chris
no one's better than Al
Collins
Michaels, but Tirico's solid.
He's fine, but he's not Al Michaels. But then Chris Collinsworth slides in. Does Collinsworth slide? And he says, now here's a guy in Patrick Mahomes that literally can walk on water. He is God's savior sent to this earth.
Maybe if Brock Purdy played better, he would get that kind of.
Maybe. All right. But I like what you did, Sammy. You said, let's rank the 2020 quarterback draft class because there's 5 starters that came out of that class. So why don't you run through them real quick?
Okay. So Burrow was taken at the top. 2 of them was taken 5th, and then Herbert 6th, and then Jalen Hurts at the end of to the Eagles. And then Jordan Love was also in that class. So that's 5 legit starters.
It'd be pretty tough not to have Hurts 1, so that's easy, and I think it's a consensus.
Well, yeah, because if you were saying talent, I'd probably go Burrow, but Hurts has won a Super Bowl, so I guess you got to give it to Hurts.
And he's been to 2. It'd be pretty tough just out of what he's done so far with his career. Jalen Hurts is going to be 1. Burrow would be 2 for me. Herbert would have to be 3, then Tua, then Love.
Really? You put Tua over Love?
I do, because I actually think Tua is a little more talented. Tua obviously has had a better offense around him for his entire career, and he's had Mike McDaniels, who I think is one of the bright offensive minds that we have in the game. Jordan Love is creeping up, though. It was tough, that 4-5.
The problem with Tua is if he was healthy, you'd give him props, but he literally can't stay healthy, and that's a real issue with him.
It's just his brain. It just rattles around too much inside of his head.
It's just his brain.
It's just like the most important thing a quarterback has. I would have Tua above Jordan Love. Like if we're talking about going into this season, who I think is going to perform better, I do think Tua will. But Jordan Love is starting to creep up that list. I'm curious to see if the Packers can surround him with some talent that actually stays healthy, not Christian Watson, who literally plays a game, looks amazing, and then the next game he's hurt.
Well, the Packers are trying to do what the Chiefs and the Bills and everyone's done, which is not have a number 1 receiver, but have a collection of guys that you think is solid enough to do this. So the Chiefs trade away Tyreek Hill. So the Bills trade away Stephon Diggs and try to do kind of an aggregate thing. I feel like that does kind of hurt you. But like if you're a young quarterback, it is nice. Mahomes and Allen learned how to not just play with number one superstar receiver.
Yeah, Travis Kelce doesn't count in that conversation.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Dawson Knox doesn't count in that conversation.
Are
That's the
saying,
biggest. You have to have a young, really solid tight end who's going to kind of coach your quarterback through their first couple years.
Do you think the 2020 draft class at quarterback is the best the last 25 years? Because 2018 had Mayfield, Darnold, Allen, and Lamar. There's multiple MVPs in that between Allen and Lamar. Baker's been an extremely solid quarterback. Sam Darnold had a complete career resurrection. You go back to the 04 class with Roethlisberger, Eli.
You have to say this class is better as of now. 04 would still take the edge, barely, because of the Super Bowls and the longevity that those guys had. But this class, 2020, is better than 2018 simply because there's been 3 Super Bowl appearances combined. Do we have any in the 2020 or the 2018? I don't think so. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson?
No, we don't have a Super Bowl appearance. It's interesting how you see it kind of go in college football. There'll be these great classes. Like last year's class, not this year with Shador. But
this year's going to be boo-boo garbage, I think.
Like you have these great collection of quarterbacks coming out. They're expecting next year between Arch, I'm forgetting the kid's name out of Mississippi State. There's a bunch of really good players that are supposed to be projected to be coming out. It feels like
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, but if Jackson Dart's leading the way, Cam Moore,
Dylan Gabriel.
Every time they say there's a terrible quarterback class, they seem to kind of prove them wrong.
Dylan Gabriel, let's go. QB1 for the Cleveland Browns.
Last year's interesting because they're only a year in. They have the talent to be completely dominant. They all went outside of May and Knicks. You went to the NFC, which is always that the AFC was loaded with quarterbacks, with Mahomes and Lamar and Allen, Herbert, and all these guys. They completely restocked with Caleb and all the Jaden Daniels and all the quarterbacks in there. It feels like it's kind of tipping the balance as to where the NFC might be more even in the next few years than the AFC.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we found the sound from Scotty Scheffler. I know the text line really responded to that, and we'll get into this sound a little bit because I honestly thought when Sammy read it, that might have been a fake account. That might have been like a trolling tweet, but it's not. It's real. Scotty Scheffler pissed some people off, and I think deservedly so. I'm not happy about it. So we're going to play that sound for you coming up next ahead of the Open Championship, which gets going on Thursday. And let's hear from who many are calling the first person who has a shot to take down some of Tiger's records. Let's get into it next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The NL, AL, MLB All-Star Game getting going tonight at 5 o'clock. The betting odds have swung a little bit. It's basically a pick 'em, but the NL is slightly favored at -115 compared to -105. For the AL, the run total is set at 7.5 after Cal Raleigh won the home run derby last night. In a couple major extensions in the National Football League, Jetstar corner Sauce Gardner's on the NFL's highest paid corner at a 4-year, $120 million contract, and the Chiefs locked up guard Trey Smith to a 4-year, $94 million contract with $70 million guaranteed. Is there a weird rattle in your HVAC system or the sound of expensive guessing? At Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air, we'll give you 3 real options guaranteed or your visit is free. Nobody wows clients like we do. AndersonPHA.com.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long. We're with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. John and Jim will also have a pair of tickets to Comic-Con this year coming up on their show just a little bit later on. Now, Scotty Scheffler is #1 in the world right now in the world of golf. He's been on a tear the last few years, winning everything from Masters to what's the Waste Management Open out in Phoenix, the Byron Nelson, which is in his home state. Like, Scotty Scheffler has accomplished a ton so far in his career, and he's still young. There's a long way of golf still in front of Scotty Scheffler, and he's become one of the most recognizable, one of the greatest players on the planet. That's all great. And I think that when we get athletes of Scotty Nelson or Scotty Scheffler-esque, right? When we get the dudes who are clearly at the top of the game in any sport, it doesn't matter which one, we start to idolize them and we start to look at them like, oh, this is their life. This is what they were put on the planet to do. And maybe that's a little selfish of us because we're thinking they're put on the planet to entertain us. Well, Scotty at the press conference this morning ahead of the Open, which gets started on Thursday, which is the 4th major of the year every single year. This year it's out at blanking on the name of the golf course. That's embarrassing, but it's out in the UK. And Scotty Scheffler, as he's getting ready for this, was asked about being #1 in the world, was asked about winning all these tournaments so far. And he went deep into the philosophy book for this answer, but take a listen and let's see how we feel.
Is it great to be able to win tournaments and to accomplish the things I have in the game of golf? Yeah. I mean, it brings tears to my eyes just to think about, because it's literally worked my entire life to become good at this sport, and to have that kind of sense of accomplishment, I think is a pretty cool feeling. You know, to get to live out your dreams is very special. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not out here to inspire the next generation of golfers. I'm not here to inspire somebody else to be the best player in the world, because what's the point? You know, this is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from a sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of like the deepest, you know, places of your heart. You know, there's a lot of people that make it to what they thought was going to fulfill them in life, and then you get there and all of a sudden you get to #1 in the world, and then they're like, what's the point? Showing up at the Masters every year, it's like, why do I want to win this golf tournament so badly? Why do I want to win the Open Championship so badly? I don't know, because if I win, it's going to be awesome for about 2 minutes. And then we're going to get to the next week and it's going to be like, hey, you won 2 majors this year. How important is it for you to win the FedEx Cup playoffs? And it's just like, we're back here again, you know? You know, that's why I talk about families being my priority, because it really is. You know, I'm blessed to be able to come out here and play golf, but if my golf ever started affecting my home life, or it ever affected the relationship I have with my wife or with my son, you know, that's going to be the last day that I play out here for a living.
You know, if I won $100 million playing golf, I'd be damn sure fulfilled.
Yeah, it's a funny line that he's playing with right now, because obviously the family stuff, yeah, that is important. I would expect anyone to say that. The minute something, your work, your job, your life starts to affect family life, it is maybe time to start thinking about a different thing. But you're a professional golfer. Like, you do fly across the country on private jets, going from tournament to tournament to play a game where you are going to be paid more than most people will sniff out in a lifetime. And it's just a tough thing to say. Obviously, we all know that that's the case for a lot of professional athletes. They're being paid a lot more than they probably should, but guess what? They entertain us. They make conversations around a bar, conversations around a living room better, because we get to talk about them. And I've gotten plenty of joy out of watching Scotty Scheffler pay, and he deserves what he's gotten so far in life. But this text from the 615 kind of sums this up. I agree with you, Fletch. Scotty's comments are a slap in the face to all of us grinding out life, busting our asses for a living. Because guess what, Scotty, if I could call you Scotty, when you're cashing those checks after you played 4 days in a golf tournament, there are people that work 7 days a week who work a lot harder than a professional golfer. who maybe save up for months at a time so they could go out and play some of the courses that you get to go out and get paid to play. It's just a rough thing for a professional golfer who's had the amount of success that he's had so far to say to the public and for us to just understand it. 619. You would think Scotty Scheffler would be a bit tougher outside after doing time in the slammer. Instead of walking around with a prison shiv in his golf bag and taking money from other players, he's crying about golf. Come on, man.
Well, the thing is this, it's like, it's an odd, listen, I don't know what's going on with him personally. Maybe he's kind of going through something and that sucks, but it's odd how most players are chasing that greatness. And I believe it was Bernard Hopkins said this, or I maybe misquoted the famous boxer who said, it's hard to get up and do road work when you're waking up in satin sheets. When you have nothing, Mike Tyson talks about it. When you have nothing and you're living in some horrible apartment, you got no money and no food, it's easy to go spend 6 hours at the gym because what else are you going to do?
And when you got everything and you're sleeping with beautiful women, you're dating actresses, it's easy to get knocked out by Buster Douglas.
Right, exactly. And you're in every club you want to, in every restaurant, and you got private jets and you got all this stuff. Yeah, I'm sure the drive of I want to win so bad, it's normal. It's human nature. It's not quite that thing. This kind of goes back to something we were talking about yesterday, Fletch. I think that we could expand on a little bit. In solo sports like this, golf, tennis, boxing, UFC, whatever it is it fun because to watch one person dominate? Because Tiger completely revamped golf, brought an entirely new audience to golf that people weren't watching before, and it was fun watching. Either you were a Tiger fan or at one point in the Open, I believe it's 2008, he was a minus 125 favorite to win an Open with a field of like 60, 70 people. That's insane that Scotty at his best is a plus 300, plus 400 favorite. Is it fun when you watch one person dominate a sport and see if someone can knock them off? Or is it fun when you have a kind of aggregate of people who are kind of the belts changing hands or the titles are changing hands all the time?
The worst thing you could be as a professional athlete is completely complacent. And that's kind of the vibe I got from Scotty Scheffler there. Now, again, the stuff about his family, I agree with. And believe me, if this job started to affect me at home and made it to where my wife was thinking about leaving me, guess what? The job is going a lot quicker than my wife goes. I'll just say that and be completely honest. Scotty's probably going through the same thing right now. Maybe there is something going on at home. Maybe that's the problem here. But I will say, Scotty, those are the quiet stuff that maybe we keep inside of our heads and don't say out loud, because that's a problem.
It's odd. So like looking at the Open odds right now, I just had it up in front of me. He's plus 450 to win it. He's the favorite. Rory's plus 700. Then it's Rahm, it's plus 1,200, DeChambeau plus 2,000, and so forth. Schauffele's down there as well, San Diego State kid. But it's like, it's just, I think it's fun when you have someone trying to be dominant and then they finally get knocked off. We talked about this yesterday. Not just go back to boxing, but Floyd Mayweather was the king of this. Conor McGregor was the king of this as well. You either loved Conor McGregor or Floyd Mayweather, or you hated him. There's really no one, but no one ever went to Floyd Mayweather or Conor McGregor and go, you know what? I don't know where I stand on that guy. That people either love him or they despise him, and they were going to pay for the fights no matter what because they want to see if they get knocked out or if they were going to win, if you were pro winning. Scotty is not that kind of personality where he's just a fantastic golfer. He's a fantastic player that's dominant. But when you see a guy that is in a sport that needs stars, all the solo sports need stars, tennis, golf, and doesn't seem like maybe he's like that interested in taking that mantle, that's his prerogative. But comments like this, I think when we look back 10, 20 years from now, maybe Scotty's not thought of as the kind of all-time great that he might want to be down the road.
You got to be an all-time competitor, and this does not reek of competitiveness. This just seems like somebody who's really good at golf but doesn't actually love golf, and that's fine if that's the case. Just don't say it out loud, dude. By the way, the Open, which gets going on Thursday, is out at Royal Portrush Golf Club, which is in Northern Ireland. So Rory's going to have a huge crowd there, and Rory's got his own set of problems. I was watching this special on Rory McIlroy last night, and it was talking about how Rory, when he used to go to any golf tournament, he would always leave handwritten thank you notes in the locker room for the staff and for people who take care of stuff. And the change from him as this kind of bubbly 17, 18-year-old who we're just starting to get to know to who he is now, which is a little bit crass and a little bit rude and mean to the media and talking crap about golf courses. Rory's done a full 180, man.
But that can be a good thing, though.
Maybe
it can't, for branding.
Little heel turn.
It's people. Everyone needs a villain.
You got the Grand Slam, and now all of a sudden he's a jerk.
Tiger needed Phil. You need Mayweather needed Pacquiao. McGregor needed Khabib. You need a heel, and now Rory's not a heel because Rory is beloved. People love Rory. But yeah, recently he's had some not so fun moments with the media.
Did you hear him last week? He was playing in the Scottish Open. He was on the green. which he got second in that tournament, by the way. It's not like he finished terribly. On the green, he said, "These greens are ass." What are we doing, Rory? You don't need it. It's a gentleman's game. Be nice. Where's that bubbly kind of bouncing down the fairway, Rory? We saw at the Masters this last year.
I'm all for it. John McEnroe is my favorite tennis player to watch because he just talked crap the whole time.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got long shots coming up on the other side. We failed last night, I'm guessing.
Home run, Jazz Chisholm hit the under. Matt Olson did not hit the over. And James Wood really sold us. Not doing San Diego a lot of favors.
No.
Because he destroys the Padres when he's here. And then in the home run derby, when we need him to succeed, didn't come through for us. But we have a special all-star game selection.
I dig it.
Tonight.
Let's get to it next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
You know what's more fun than winning money by yourself? Winning money with your friends. It's not just fun for you to win money. It's fun when the whole squad wins money. What's better than when you're at the roulette table and everyone wins together, or you're at the craps table and all your boys are on a heater with you? As known in the show here, we believe in squad ride W's. This is why you got to check out Circus Survivor. It's $1,000 to enter, so grab 9 of your friends or family and go in $100 each. Or if you and your buddy are confident, split the 1,000 yourself. You pick one team each week to win their matchup. Once you burn a team, you cannot pick them again later that season. Now, Fletch is a personal friend of mine. You know he's my guy. But for the 996th time, we are not taking the Niners to beat the Seahawks in Seattle on week 1. That is not happening. With Circa Million, you have the ability to win $15 million. All you got to do is go 20-0 or outlast the competition. But everyone knows what happens when you try to plan a vacation with the friend group. Someone wants a high-priced dinner. Someone wants to go to the pool. Someone wants to go to the club. But I say let's just all meet in the sports book and figure it out. If you and your group having trouble deciding on things and come into a consensus on a weekly pick for Circa Survivor, may not be right for you. Don't worry. Circa's got you covered with Circa Million, where you don't need friends to tell you what to pick. All you need to do is pick 5 teams against the spread. Each week, you can win up to $6 million in guaranteed prizes. Winner gets $1 million. And get this, for the worst entry in the pool, you win the booby prize, which is $100,000 to the worst entry. Sign up in Nevada, play for a minute anywhere, and win your money now.
San Diego Sports 760 on a Tuesday here in America's finest city. Ben Fletcher, Sammy along with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. Our buddy Tyler weighing in on YouTube saying, I hope Xander Schauffele gets back into form and into contention. Me too, man. It was fun seeing Xander go on a huge tear at the end of last year's golf season. Hopefully he can get back there. Maybe it starts this week out at Royal Portsbrush in Northern Ireland, and could be a good week for old Xander. All right, we do have the Major League Baseball All-Star Game tonight. We're going to get back to the Padres with Kevin Acee coming up at 1:30 today. Talk about the trade deadline, any updates that have come his way, and I do think he's out in Atlanta, so we'll find out what his plans are for the nightlife. Am I right? Kevin Acee, just a freak.
You think Kevin Acee's getting down the clubs?
I mean, Atlanta's the spot to do it if you're going to pick one.
Shout out to the ATL.
Have you been to Atlanta?
No, I've only been to in the South, New Orleans.
I've been to Atlanta once. I've never been to New Orleans, but Atlanta's a cool time, man. Great food. Everything is super walkable, at least where we were. We were over kind of by the Olympic Park.
Oh, yeah, right in the middle of the city, right?
Yeah, right next to the convention center, which is where I was working for a week. That's a cool spot in Atlanta, and there are some awesome restaurants, but we'll see what Kevin Acee's getting up to. I'm sure none of that. Actually, he's not going to any nightclubs in ATL. Kev is boring. That's what Kevin is.
Kevin's in bed by 8:30.
Yeah.
Crisp little 8:30.
But let's get to some long shots. I'm assuming we're focusing on the Major League Baseball All-Star Game and long shots.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of bummed that it didn't include Summer League last night because I actually had some money Summer League picks. But this is what we're down to gambling right now. So I can't really be held responsible if we don't, we're going to hit our bets tonight. But, I mean, we're literally betting the All-Star Game.
You sound so confident.
No, I'm just saying I don't want to get roasted because, if I miss NFL picks, I understand.
See, this is actually maybe a good thing because usually when Sammy comes into a long shots overconfident, things don't go our way. When you come in thinking that you're going to lose, maybe you win.
No, I don't think we're going to lose. This is a true long shot parlay, but I like where my head's at here.
Sammy Long, smash that button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, he's all big time now, huh? It's time for Sammy's Long Shots. Hold on. Can't talk until I say the important stuff. Long Shots is presented by Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Now, go.
Oh, you hear that?
I'm looking through the board here. It is tricky to make some picks on this one.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
I feel like less than is going to be a popular choice. You want to tell everybody what Circa Survivor and Circa Millions are?
Oh, you mean the only way to play Vegas?
That's the
only
one,
way to play
yeah.
your NFL season?
We're going in a couple weeks now.
We're going in a couple weeks. We're very excited.
I think I might have breaking news for you. We're not just staying one night anymore. We're staying two.
We're staying 2 nights?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Circa. This is why Circa is the greatest. Okay, you don't just go for one night. You have to be in the pool. You have to be in the sports book. Then you got to go out you don't even have to go anywhere. Circa has everything you need.
I think we're heading to the airport right after our show on the Wednesday.
Oh,
getting out to Vegas on Wednesday. We're doing the show there.
Starts at the airport bar, that little donut Southwest terminal.
I mean, it's a work trip. I don't know if I'm calling it a vacation.
What?
Get in Wednesday night.
What? Us talking in the sports book for 2 hours is work?
Do the show there Thursday. Do the show there Friday.
You better not be going to bed early.
I will not go to bed early on Thursday. I promise you that. Wednesday might be an early night.
No, it's Vegas. There's no early night. Okay. All right. Anyway, but Circa Survivor, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, you pick one team each week. It's like you're playing a survivor pool, except not with your friends. You don't want to do that. Then they stiff you on the payment. It's a whole thing. You lose friendships. You don't want to do it. You want to play Circa Survivor. You just go there. You pick one team each week. If you outlast everybody, you will win the whole thing. Or if you go
you won't win the whole thing because Sammy and I are going to win it.
Yeah, we're going to be money on this. But then if you want to go 5 picks a week, then you go Circa Million. That's just 5 picks against the spread. I'm doing both. I'm very excited. Okay, so Fletch, I'm going to ask for some help with this. I have 4 picks right now for the NL All-Star Game, NL All-Star Game. So one pick that I feel like is going to hit, Ronald Acuna to get a hit, more than a half hit, playing in the ATL, not hometown guy, but hometown hero. I think he's going to get a hit tonight. I think Acuna's got a big bat. Obviously came back. His first game against the Padres.
Yeah, but how many at-bats is he going to get? That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a hit. This is a tough lineup, okay? We're doing the All-Star Game. This is basically it we have tonight. Logan Webb and Brian Wu, more than 2 pitcher strikeouts. Brian Wu has quietly been – these are 2 of the most disrespected pitchers in all of baseball.
Are these the starters?
No. Skeens and Scuball are the starters.
Right.
Starters. Webb and Brian Wu, though, fantastic players. Logan Webb feels like, we all know him because we see him every time we play the Giants, but Logan Webb is one of the most underrated pitchers, I feel like, that doesn't get the respect. Everyone knows he's a great pitcher, but he doesn't get the respect of an elite pitcher, which he is. Brian Wu has had an absolute breakout season with the Mariners up there. He's been the ace on that staff. I think this number's a little bit low. I'm happy it's only at 2, not at 2.5. Webb, Wu, more than 2 pitcher strikeouts.
But they're only going to get an inning.
Okay, they have 6 opportunities.
So they got to get 50% of them?
Yeah. Now, I'm going to give you a pick on this last one, Fletch. Okay? Do you want to go with the hometown sucker bet, or do you want to go with another pitching combo?
Pitching combo.
Okay.
What was the hometown bet?
Manny Machado to get a hit or RBI or something. But
yeah, no, I don't like it.
Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal. 2.5 pitcher strikeouts. We're going less than. This is the sucker bet. They want us to take this. They want to go. I mean, Skubal and Skeens are going to get 3 strikeouts. Let's not forget who they're going up against. Shohei Ohtani. Aaron Judge. I mean, these are the top of the lineups. Everyone's going to be locked in, especially off the jump. I don't like Skeens and Skubal to get 3 strikeouts combined. So less than 2.5 pitch strikeouts for Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal, Raul Acuna to get 1 hit on the night, more than Logan Webb and Brian Wu, more than 2 pitch strikeouts on the night. I think we're going with the 2 most disrespected pitchers to get more strikeouts, and we're going with 2 elite pitchers, but I think that number's a little bit juiced.
I think it's a good thing that we don't feel great about this.
I'm just saying, all I'm going to say, and I'm Mr. Confident with these picks, don't put the mortgage on this one tonight.
This might be a $5 entry.
This is a little $5, you know?
Yeah, I don't feel great about it. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe this is a winner. Maybe that's what we need.
Maybe the fact that we're not gassing it up is it might just hit in the first inning.
You know, the perfect example here, not to bring it back to golf again, but when you go out thinking you're going to have a great day on the course.
Oh, you get your ass handed.
Yeah, you can't even get the ball off the ground sometimes. When you go out thinking that, oh man, I suck at this game, all of a sudden you're hitting some good shots.
858's calling us unfulfilled people. Said unfulfilled people complaining about an unfulfilled golfer. LOL.
That's fine. I'm not totally fulfilled in my life right now.
We have room for growth.
I think it'd be a shame if you were.
Yeah. Who's completely fulfilled in their life?
If you're completely fulfilled, I don't think you're working. Like I hardly call what Sammy and I do work. But if I, like, for example, happen to win, I don't know, $300 million because the lottery's going on right now and I may or may not have tickets, I don't think you're hearing from me anytime soon.
Yeah, but would you be fulfilled because you'd have everything you ever wanted and you might be kind of like it might get boring after a while.
It might take me a couple years to get bored. I can be fairly honest about that.
We're going to see Fletch just on his yacht.
I don't think you'll see me at all. That's the thing. I think I'm just gone.
What? No. If I had $300 million, I would be everywhere. I would.
Sammy would be front row at the ESPYs.
Oh yeah,
saying, "Hey Shane, do you want to be friends?"
Dude, self promotion is key. Fletch.
858. Remember, most golfers grew up on third base with a silver spoon in their mouth. They usually inherited more money than they will ever actually make.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of beginnings Scotty Scheffler came from. That is a good point about most golfers, and it's a stereotype that's been well earned over the history of the sport. And golf is changing it. I will say there's a lot of programs now that are awesome. My niece is actually involved with one of them where it's hardly any money and you get to go out and you learn the game and you start playing from a really young age. And that's how you fix this issue. That's how you change things around. But that is absolutely a earned stereotype from the game of golf. All right, hour number 2 is coming up next. Kevin Acee is going to be jumping on the show.
Kevin Acee.
Can't wait to chat with Kev, who's out living large in the ATL. I wonder if he's hit a Waffle House yet.
I bet he hasn't done anything.
He had to have gone to one Waffle House.
But is that living large? That's like 1 a.m.
I mean, I wish we had one here.
I wish we had a Waffle House here.
That'd be great.
I wish Roscoe's would come down from LA and have some stuff in San Diego.
Roscoe's? I don't know that I've had Roscoe's.
What's you Roscoe's? Roscoe's chicken and waffles?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude. Next time we're in LA, I'll take you.
I'm going to LA this weekend.
You want Santa Monica?
Yeah, that's LA,
There's one right there.
Is there?
Yeah. Oh, your life is about to be changed.
Well, maybe I'll have to try Roscoe's. San Diego Sports 760. Hour number 2 is coming up next, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This board is sponsored by Lowe's. Big contract extensions out of the NFL today. Sauce Gardner, now the NFL's highest paid corner at a 4-year, $120 million contract. Chiefs guard Trey Smith gets a 4-year, $94 million contract with $70 million guaranteed. And Terry McLaurin is frustrated by the status of his contract talks. They have not been able to come to a conclusion. In the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays, if they get into the playoffs, it got okayed by the MLB to have a 10,000-seat stadium. That will be interesting on television. Member Week is here at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off paint tools, home essentials, and more. Join for free today and get ready to save more. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms, subject to change.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
No fluff, just facts.
Everybody in the country wants the big dumper to win, and I get that. Cal Raleigh's been the best story, but when the entire public is one way, what do, Sammy?
We fade the public.
You want to, make sure you're respecting others.
Thank you. Fade the public. Cal Raleigh's not winning this thing.
The Big Dumper is your home run derby champion for 2025.
That's absolutely wrong.
Take the blame.
Now it's time to enter the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, it's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. We got an hour left for you. Kevin Acee's going to be jumping on the show. We got a ton to get into here. We got a question about some of the quarterbacks from a year ago who were rookies entering into year 2, about who is most likely to tank to the bottom. We're going to get to that in about 10 minutes. But Sammy, what you just said about the Tampa Bay Rays, reset that one more time. People don't always listen to the updates. What was it?
People
By people, I mean me, but I caught the tail end of it.
The Tampa Bay Rays, because of the storms, they lost their stadium. They're playing in a minor league ballpark, actually, where the Yankees play their not their minor league, but
their spring training.
Spring training. It holds 10,000 seats. I don't know if you've seen it on TV. It's very odd. They're like playing in a small ballpark.
It's kind of like what the A's are doing in Sacramento right now.
Right. The Rays, though, have a shot to get in the playoffs. They're a legit team. They could be a wild card team. And it got okayed because the big question was, would the MLB be allow them to hold playoff games there, considering that, I mean, you're going to lose out on thousands of dollars, considering that if you're only selling 10,000 seats, or the prices are going to be astronomical that no one's going to go. So people have kind of thought, maybe do they go to another home ballpark? Do they go to the Marlins? Like, do they have kind of another home? But they're going to be playing there.
That is bizarre, man. For a postseason game, that is going to look weird. I think you're spot on with that. Now, the Rays are also in the middle of being sold right now for $1.7 billion. And I know that sounds like a lot of money, but when it comes to teams and their value as an organization, that is nothing. That is the cheapest major league maybe team you could buy in any of the big 3 sports. For example, the Yankees, their value most recently came in at like $8.3 billion. So you're saying for the price, an eighth of the price, you can get a Major League Baseball team compared to the top, because I would assume that the Yankees and Dodgers are pretty similar, around $8.3 billion.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers come in just below
1.7. That's nothing.
Nothing. Cheap change. 1.7
I
million.
know. It's all relative. Like, what NFL team would go for less than $7 billion? There isn't one. They would all go
the
more than
Lakers
that.
just got sold for 10.
Right.
And obviously comparing the Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Lakers is crazy, but it is to that point. The Yankees are like 8. And if they were sold today, just like the Lakers value, people might not have had them at 10 billion because of the fact of demand. Teams don't come up usually. The Yankees would probably go for even over that. So it is crazy that the Rays are a fraction of the price of what the Yankees would go for.
$1.7 billion, man. We just needed to do some crowdsourcing, Sammy. That could have been us. We could have owned a Major League Baseball team.
Dude.
How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Actually, seems like a bit of a headache. I don't know if I envy people who own Major League Baseball teams right now. Seems like a tough job.
Yeah, well, if you're an owner like Jerry Jones in the NFL who wants to be a GM, but you're not qualified to, then it becomes a headache. If you're just an owner that puts the right people in place to do their jobs, then it could be fun.
Speaking of kind of tough news, this one hurts a little bit. Milan Iloski, who we've all sort of fallen in love with here in San Diego, the dude who scored 10 goals in the last 14 games for SDFC, his loan is up. So they got him on loan from a team. Ready for me to butcher a name, Sammy?
Let's do it.
FC Nordsjælland. Nordsjælland. Feel good about that. So he is going back to that team because in soccer, they have these things called loans where you can bring a guy over, but it is quite literally a loan. You only have him for a little bit of time. And so this is called a mutual loan termination when both the team and the player decide, it's time for us to part ways. There's a huge thank you address on San Diego FC's X account, also on our Instagram page at SD Sports 760. You can find it there. But Milan Holoski, man, he put this team, he kicked him into high gear. It was like adding jet fuel to something that was already going in the right direction because he was just a goal scoring magnet. Bummed to see him go. SDFC, by the way, back home tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium. Sammy and I might be going to that.
Oh, do we have an update on that?
I would like to go. I think we can go.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Let's just talk to a guy. We got a guy. All right, it's time for the big three of hour number 2, where Sammy takes us through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big three.
You know what we're starting with? College football. Because it's almost that time.
We're close.
We're
We're
very
50 days away from the NFL season, so I think that means we're
like
30,
43?
37, 38.
30. Oh, okay. Yeah,
There's week 0 games. There's games that are 5 days before any other game.
So we were talking about this yesterday. There's been a massive debate among the Big Ten, the SEC, of what should the playoff be. Should it be 12 teams like it is now? They've talked about it's going to go to 16 eventually. Should it go to 14 in the meantime? Or should it not go to 16 at all and stay at 12? Now, this is kind of a back and forth because the SEC had been dominant for so long. But the Big Ten, Ohio State wins it last year. Michigan wins it the year before. Kirby Smart, though, head coach of Georgia, says most SEC coaches favor the 5+11 college football playoff model. What that means, 5 conference championships plus 11 at-large bids. Fletch, we got into this a little bit yesterday. Do you think why do you think the SEC is so into this? Are you avidly against them expanding? I know you kind of mentioned about how you'd like to see them kind of stay at 12.
Stay at 12 for a while and then move to 16. Well, they're moving to 16 anyways, right? Just a few years away.
Yeah, a couple years.
So why not just stay at 12 for now? Look, it went fine last year. Ratings were good. There was a couple blowouts. Sure, you can fix that easily by reseeding. 12 is all it needs to be for right now. Moving anything 1 year after you make the big move seems kind of crazy to me. But you know what? If 5+11 is the deal, is that what the SEC wants? The little whiners over there?
Yeah.
Just
they want,
whatever.
The SEC, this is what makes me frustrated. The SEC, we wouldn't be hearing this if Ole Miss and Alabama got in the playoff last year. That was the big thing, is that they had 3 losses. Ole Miss in Alabama, and their big thinking was, remember Nick Saban came out and go, well, what's the point of playing a tough schedule, meaning that you're more likely to get losses because you're playing tougher competition if that doesn't get rewarded in the college football playoff. That's not how that works. SMU was a very solid team. They were a good football team. Miami had a couple losses, and they got docked because they didn't play the level of competition, the ACC, that was required to get in the playoff. SMU was a good football team. And I know they got waxed by Penn State in the playoff, but still, they deserve to be there. They have been dominant all season. They had a great comeback in their conference championship game. And the SEC just feels like, to me, this is my personal opinion, they're still one of the premier college football conferences there is. But they used to get away with the SEC is really college football, and everyone else, the Pac-12, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the Mountain West is just, they're playing cutesy football. Except that's not the case anymore. Nick Saban's gone. Alabama did not look as dominant. They lost to Vanderbilt last year. Georgia's still there. They got Texas and Oklahoma joined, but now you got the Big Ten with SC, UCLA, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. That conference is absolutely stacked. And heading into this year, probably more stacked at the top, outside of Texas being number 1 overall, in terms of have more teams in the top 5. So I feel like you're seeing the SEC lashing out because they want control over this thing, but you're looking at 2 super conferences right now, and I think the Big Ten's earned the right to want the model that they want.
Yeah, let's just relax on this for a while, I think, and let it breathe, and we'll see what happens. You got another one for us, Sammy?
Yes. NFL quarterbacks. So I'm not going to ask you what quarterback has the most pressure when it's Super Bowl next year, but I am going to ask you Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Jared Goff. What quarterback, if they do not win a Super Bowl or advance to a Super Bowl, will cause the most wholesale changes within the organization?
So I think Sean McDermott of those teams is the most likely head coach to get canned at the end of this season, but that's just because Sean McDermott really hasn't done anything all that special. I think he's a good coach, not a great coach. When you're looking at needing to get to a Super Bowl, I do feel like the Lions, if they want staying power, if they want to be treated as for real instead of just kind of a fun regular season team, they probably need to get to a Super Bowl this year. And a lot of that's on Jared Goff. More of that's on Dan Campbell because Dan Campbell's 2 coordinators just left. So we're going to see if he really does have the chops to be an NFL head coach or if he's literally just a culture guy. And that's fine if you hire great guys around you. Well, this is his first chance with Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson both leaving to bring in his own staff and make this his whole thing. If Dan Campbell can pull it off, and if the Lions are as good this year as they were a year ago, if the Lions maybe even take that next step and get to a Super Bowl out of a weaker NFC, watch out, man. Dan Campbell might be getting a fat extension. So Jared Goff, if he plays poorly, leads to the most wholesale changes down the road. If Josh Allen plays poorly this year, leads to the most wholesale changes right now.
I like that take about the Lions because the Lions, if we think about it, they were up huge on your Niners. The Niners come roaring back 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, we did.
And people
behind Brock Purdy, excellent second half.
Yeah, well,
that's our guy.
We're not going to get into what happened at the Super Bowl, but that's a story for another day. They come back and they kind of got the excuse of it's the Lions. You got over the hump. You won a playoff game. You won 2 playoff games, and you got to the NFC title game. You had a lead. You get a pass. Last year was the year, but the entire defense gets absolutely ate up with injuries, so people kind of get a pass. This year, you lose Aaron Glenn. He's both corner Ben Johnson's to the Bears. So we really are going to see how good of a coach Dan Campbell is, and there's going to be pressure on this team to get to a Super Bowl because even though Philly should be the favorite, they earned it. They won the Super Bowl last year. The defense did get significantly worse. There was a lot of losses on that side of the ball, and so there's a chance the Lions could get there, and a very reasonable chance that they could get there. At some point, you do have to win. Now, Josh Allen, Burrow. I don't see John Harbaugh getting fired because John Harbaugh is a fantastic coach. And the way John Harbaugh has molded an offense to Lamar would not work if coaches didn't put their egos aside and realize that this guy's a star player if we build an offense around him. I don't see Harbaugh getting ousted. McDermott, I can't believe he hasn't been ousted all yet because it's not like you're getting rid of Josh Allen. And it does seem like in these games against the Chiefs, he gets outcoached by Andy Reid, Zach Taylor, and Joe Burrow. Zach Taylor feels like he got to a Super Bowl, so he got a lot of staying power. And people are like, he did get to a Super Bowl in one of his first years. But at some point, like, they're going to make a change because I don't know how great of a coach Zach Taylor is. And with that kind of offense, if you had a defensive mind that could make the defense kind of somewhat okay, they could do some damage in the AFC. But yeah, I think certainly the Bills and the Bengals, if they don't win this year, and particularly the Bills, I think McDermott has to be out. But then again, I said that last year.
Yeah, with Zach Taylor, what's the phrase? It's not always your X's and O's. Sometimes it's the Jimmy and Joes. Well, the Jimmys and Joes on the Cincinnati Bengals defense are not good enough. It doesn't matter what X's and O's are there. You got one more for the MLB All-Star game?
Yeah, MLB All-Star game. What is the most interesting storyline for the game tonight in your mind, Fletch?
So you could go Paul Skeens making his second straight All-Star game start. I think that's a fine one. Will Livy Dunn be in the audience tonight? I think that's a fine one too. But I do think it's this rookie out of Milwaukee. If he gets in, is all the Phillies guys, the Trey Turners, are all their cries going to be worth something, or is he going to get out there and perform? I kind of hope he gets out there and is a stud tonight. Jacob Miz, is that his name?
Yeah.
The rookie has 5 starts under his belt. His fastball average is 99.8 miles per hour. He's had some 89 pitches over 5 starts go over 100. I hope he gets into the game tonight and is fireworks. I hope he's electric. I hope he's awesome just to shut the guys in Philly up. Like, are you really boo-hooing that some of your guys are having a paid vacation this week instead of going to the All-Star game?
Yeah, it's funny. It adds a little bit of a storyline, like when he pitches, because if he goes out there and gets 3 straight Ks,
I hope he does.
He's going to throw it back in all their faces. And if he gets blasted.
I loved his answer today, too, by the way. He was like, I'm unbothered by the Phillies comments. Who cares? It's not under my control. I didn't ask to be in the All-Star game. I was asked to be in the All-Star game.
Yeah, it's just guys take that so personally. It feels weird to me. Certainly going to the young stars at the pitching spot. It is fun seeing Skubal. He's been fantastic in year 2. The Tigers have been great against Skeens and some of the pitching matchups. But, it's going to be fun, like seeing these guys like Pete Crow Armstrong and Caminero. Like, it is so Cal Raleigh how young the stars are, and kind of like who shines brightest. Is it these guys like Caminero, Raleigh, who were in the Derby last night, and Ketel Marte's been fantastic for the Diamondbacks, or do the grizzled vets show up? Your Manny Machados, your Shohei Ohtanis, your Aaron Judges, your Freddie Freemans, your guys like that, your Acuñas. Are those the guys that kind of take over the All-Star game? And the
Ohtani versus Judge is fun too. Having them on opposite teams this year, that's a good thing.
But one thing that kind of bothers me is I think we were talking about earlier in the show, Fletch, you mentioned how it lacked juice last night, the home run derby. I tell you what wouldn't lack juice is if Fernando Tatis and Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani and the best home run hitters in the game are actually playing in the home run derby.
Can't believe I forgot to say this. The best part of last night's home run derby was actually the show that was on, and I don't know what it's called, but prior to the home run derby. And they were showing highlights of Ken Griffey Jr. and highlights of Barry Bonds and highlights of all these guys Alex Rodriguez, who performed amazingly in home run derbies. How cool would that have been had we had the superstars of today's Major League Baseball actually performing in the home run derby? You know, Barry Bonds, as a joke, the guy who was throwing to him one year, threw intentional walk pitch for the first pitch of his home run derby appearance.
Yeah.
Because it was the year that he walked. It was some outrageous number. He was walking like 1 out of every 3 times he got up to plate. But for the very first pitch that year, the catcher stood up and put his arm out and he threw an intentional walk pitch. And Barry, you could hear it on the hot mic, says, "You got to be effing kidding me."
Well, like it's like when they're racing for the batting title, McGuire and Bonds, it's like, hey, let's not have him in the home run derby. No, let's skip it out.
Yeah, it's Sammy Sosa. Who cares?
No, who cares? And I get it. It's the guy, and I'm sure they're playing 162 games. They want time off. I get it.
I'm also sure Major League Baseball asked all of those guys to be in it, and they all said no.
It's not MLB's fault, but it is like if you put more incentive on it, it would be fun to see Judge and Ohtani in a swing off. It'd be fun to see Tatis up there. It'd be fun to see Acuna up there. I know subbed out, but like it would be fun to see the truly best home run hitters in the game competing against Cal Raleigh, the young new hot shot. It does feel a little bit we take out of it when it's a bunch of guys that outside the diehard baseball fans, people just don't know.
Is this the year that the Kansas City Chiefs lose the AFC West? That's coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Visit him online today at mountaintrustmortgage.com or give him a call, 858-376-1299. You have heard these words come out of Gary's mouth a million times, and yes, we have another one. Consumer beware from Gary Cooper. What's going on, Gary?
Hey, I just got an email yesterday from a past client of mine, Ralph. I won't give his last name for identity protection, of course, but he sent me an email because when I did his last loan was transferred and sold to one of these big lenders, and you hear them all the time, actually. And anyway, he's looking for a second mortgage, $275,000. Credit scores are 781. And his loan to value is 63%. The reason why I'm very specific, because it does affect your pricing. Long story short, they came back to him at a rate of 8.25% on a 20-year fix. Now, they bombard you with emails and phone calls. When your loan is being serviced by somebody else, they have their own retail division, and they're constantly just bombarding you. In comparison, of course, he reached out to me, and I'm very grateful for that because my rate at par was 7.20 with a payment or an APR of 7.261. That's a difference in payment of $178.18. They quote 8.25. The par rate is 7.20 on a 20-year fix. So consumer beware.
And call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com and tell him that Fletch sent you. Is this the year it happens? Hey, it's San Diego Sports 760. If it's your first time listening to us here at noon to 2, my name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate the hell out of you, just like we appreciate the hell out of Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. If you were listening during that last commercial break,
we do.
858-376-1299. Call him, ask for Gary. He is the best in the world at making sure you don't spend a dime more than you're supposed to. We also appreciate the hell out of Circa.
Oh, we love Circa.
Can't wait to go. I actually was there a few months ago when San Diego State played against UNLV in football, and Sammy and I are going next month, end of August. Can't wait
We're
to
getting
play
summer bod ready for the sports book.
Yeah, I'm doing so many crunches,
dude. We got 1 month to lock in. Absolutely get dialed, Fletch.
So many pull-ups. You have no idea, dude, how many pull-ups I'm just ripping on a daily basis. Oh, sorry, those are push pops. That's different. That's a popsicle, a lovely treat from the 7-Eleven freezer section.
Or
That's
something else if you watch Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
That is a good movie, but I don't know that reference.
So we don't need to get into it on air.
All right. Well, we do need to get into on air before we chat with Kevin Acee, which that's coming up at 1:30. We'll get some Padres talk with Kev. Is the Kansas City Chiefs. Is this the year? Is this the year that the AFC West has a different team winning the thing? Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. Is someone going to step up to the challenge this year and actually take the title from the Kansas City Chiefs? Sammy, I want one word and one word only from you. Yes or no?
No.
Oh my God. Of course not. Why can't we have fun one time? You don't see any path forward.
I can break it down. Why?
Could the Chargers make a change this year?
Okay, let me
year
break down,
2 of Harbaugh.
Let me break down every team in this division. This is a solid. This is a good division, top to bottom. I really believe that. Even the Raiders.
I think the Raiders got a lot better this offseason.
The Raiders are going to be a team that, because the lack of depth and consistency is going to lead them to not having a great record. But I promise you, we're going to be sitting here in December, Fletch, and we're going to talk about the Raiders beating a really good team, a team at the top of the AFC, team at the top of the NFC, because they do have talent. Max Crosby, Pete Carroll's now coaching them. They don't have, that idiot McDaniel and no idea what he was doing. Geno Smith, you got Ashton Genty. Like, there's in the tight end Bowers out of Georgia.
Brock Bowers is nasty, dude. I love that guy.
I mean, there's talent on this team, and that's the worst team in the division. Now, in terms of the Chargers, they play the Chiefs tough. And they have everything you'd think. You need Harbaugh. You got Herbert. You got a running game. The offensive line. They have the best tackle combination.
Currently, your running back number 1 doesn't have an eye or something.
Yeah, that's actually true. They
exploded his face at a firework accident.
But they have maybe the best tackle combo in the entire NFL. My problem is this: what did they do at the receiver spot? Their big solution to getting a receiver, which they needed badly, Ladd McConkey. Thank God for Charger fans, because he's the only reason that they were able to complete a pass in the playoffs and down the stretch there. They signed Mike Williams, who's now just got put on the PUP list, and we don't know how good he's going to be because he wasn't that great in Pittsburgh.
Wait, they brought Mike Williams back?
Yeah, they did. You didn't see that?
No.
Mike Williams back. And then the other solution is Trey Harris, second-round pick out of Ole Miss, who is the best player against man coverage in the entire draft class. And guess what? Per Rappaport, as of a week ago, he's holding out of camp because he can't come to a contract agreement with them. So you're not going to go into Kansas City or Buffalo or Baltimore or Cincinnati with a receiving core that has one player in it, Ladd McConkey.
Well, that leaves Denver Broncos. Bo Nix heading into year 2. Sean Payton, a Super Bowl winning head coach who is a fantastic head coach who, by the way, he kind of made his name in the NFL by designing an offense around a guy who failed in San Diego and Drew Brees. He brings them into New Orleans, and all of a sudden, the offense that he designs around Drew Brees leads to a Super Bowl win, leads to some of the best football and record-breaking football that we've ever seen from Drew Brees. So has Sean Payton done enough with Bo Nix heading into year 2 to avoid the sophomore slump, to continue this rise? Because the Denver Broncos surprised a lot of people a year ago. Yeah. Could they do it again this year?
They're a sneaky team. The Broncos are good. Like Sutton is a receiver, Cortland Sutton, that does not get enough love nationally. That defense is good. If you're in fantasy drafts, it makes me sick because I'm not a Denver Bronco fan whatsoever. But that defense is going to be nasty with Greenlaw, Hufanga come up for the Niners. Sertan's already there. I'm blanking on the one pass rusher's name, Nick Benito, who's really underrated. He had really high sack totals last year. The question is, the regression. That's what, do you believe Bo Nix has the same ability they did last year? And they beat up on a lot of bad teams because they were playing a third place schedule. So they didn't really play well when they stepped up in competition. They didn't play great against the Chargers. They were 0-2 against them last year, I believe. So they're kind of inverse. I feel like the Broncos have a better roster than the Chargers. I trust Herbert more and Harbaugh more than I do Nix and Payton.
I got a real feeling the Broncos might finish fourth in this division this year.
Really?
I think Bo Nix is going to have a rough season in year 2. I appreciate the hell and respect the hell out of Sean Payton, but I think if there was one quarterback from last year's class who had a crazy successful season who's going to take a massive step backwards, it's Bo Nix. And this could be a rough year for him with the uptick in schedule, uptick in division. Like, they also have to play the Raiders twice this year. Raiders got better. Chargers, I think, got better. They're going to have to play those teams a bunch too.
And before everyone calls me a homer, finishing with the 7-time in a row champs of the division.
Of course, the Chiefs are going to win the stupid division.
No, everyone wants to prey on the downfall, and I get it. You don't like the Chiefs, you're not a Chiefs fan. Hell, I wouldn't like the Chiefs if I grew up a diehard Chiefs fan. But Rashee Rice is back. This receiving core, this might be
Rashee Rice is on my dynasty team.
This might be the
so many offers last year.
Complete offense that they've ever had. Not the most explosive. That was Kareem, Tyreek, and Kelsey. Because Kelsey's done the downturn. That's probably Kelsey's last season playing. But in terms of complete offense, complete receiving core between Rashee Rice, Worthy, Hollywood Brown, they got Royals out of Utah State, who was a major underrated draft pick. And the defense is going to be absolutely fire this year. So for everyone praying down my Chiefs downfall,
absolutely fire.
I'm just telling you.
I'd like to point this out that we did the NFC West yesterday, and I did none of this with the 49ers. So yes, if you were nauseated over the last couple minutes, I apologize. And you know what? That's just
I avoid talking about the Chiefs to be a homer. I'm just giving you my opinion and my fact.
Kevin Acee is coming up next. He is our Padres insider. We talk to him every single Tuesday, usually at 1:30, and that's exactly what's happening.
What do you think Kevin Acee has finishing first place in the AFC West?
Probably the Chiefs, because Kevin Acee has a good head on his shoulders. He did cover the Chargers for, I want to say, 15, 16 years.
Really? I didn't know he was a Charger guy.
That was he wasn't a Charger guy. He was the beat reporter. That was his job before he did the Padres.
Okay.
San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. Our Padres insider, Kevin Acee, coming up next.
This sport is sponsored by SDG&E. The MLB All-Star Game is going tonight at 5 o'clock from Atlanta. It's currently a pick'em on the money line between the AL and the NL. Tarek Skubal and Paul Skeens will lead off at the top of the lineup for the pitching staffs. And then big contracts out of the NFL. Sauce Gardner is now the NFL's highest paid corner, 4-year, $120 million contract, while the Chiefs gave right guard Trey Smith 4 years, $94 million with $70 million guaranteed. And peak wildfire season as a last resort. SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdgne./PSPS.
We asked Senior.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy along with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. And right now it's that time. Every single week we get to catch up with the one and only Kevin Acee. Hi, Kevin. How's Atlanta?
It's awesome. It's awesome. Nice and cool. There's no humidity. It's just beautiful.
Is that sarcasm? I can never tell with you.
Yes, it's July in the South. Yes. Yeah, there's a little bit of humidity.
All right, Kev, you had a pretty cool story about Fernando Tatis Jr. Making his way to, is this what, his third All-Star game of his career? His first voted by players, first one was voted by fans. Kev, what is Fernando Tatis Jr. doing this week? Because we know he had the hotel stay, the vacation planned, and then that got interrupted by, that nosy little thing called the All-Star game. How's he approaching this week?
I think he's pretty thrilled to be here. I'll tell you what, he was a big draw yesterday during the media availability. He's clearly got the star power. I think that it was, everybody, and it might be hard for us mortals, people that weren't blessed with his talent, to understand, but they can get insecure. They can get beat down. They struggle, and they're in that way, they're just like everyone else, where they start to wonder, and they might say that they believe, and they might believe, but am I that guy? And I think he had started to play better before the All-Star nod, but some people around the organization, and I think I can see it. I think that this was a real pick-me-up for him, and then to be here and have, talk to other players, and then have other players talk about him. I do think that, I don't know if validation is the correct word. How would I know what the correct word is? I'm just a writer. But I really do think that this was a big deal for Fernando.
Kevin, this is a personal question for you. Do you like the All-Star game? Is it interesting to you, or is there a storyline tonight that gets you out of bed?
You set me up, man. It's just a long season, and this is I just privileged to come. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I do enjoy seeing greatness. Baseball's just a weird game to play an All-Star game. Not that the NBA or the Pro Bowl or the NHL All-Star game is really all that great, but it's just a weird game to watch. But you do get to see moments, and you do get to see great players. And what's my storyline? I just feel like Manny Machado, it's pretty special, and it's hard because I write about him all the time, and I write about the special things he does, but haven't been that many starters, position player starters for the Padres. He's making his second. Haven't been that many guys making making multiple starts for the Padres in an All-Star game. I think that's really interesting if you're from San Diego. And then what does Tatis do? He often seizes the big stage. And then wow, 3 relievers. And I just got finished writing about this, post later, but 3 relievers. And yes, 2 of them were replacements. And it's kind of gotten out of hand a little bit, the whole replacement thing, right? It'll be 200 All-Stars or guys that can say they were All-Stars, right? Because all the guys that drop out for either, health, or they got personal reasons that they need to attend to stuff during the All-Star break. But it really worked out, because I think all 3 of these guys from the bullpen deserve to go. Morejon probably should have been, and I think Jason Adam basically knows that. If you had to really break it down, Adrian Morejon could easily have been the guy who was selected at the start. But hey, That's cool. Now Adam Suarez and Morahone are here. I think that is huge.
It feels right. It feels like there wasn't any snubs on the Padre that Adrian Morahone got that nod on Monday, right? He got it yesterday. So I think that that's cool that they made the Padres whole there. But Kev, you look at tonight, so the game's going to happen, whatever. Then I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of media scrum. Who is the one guy you're hunting down that's not a Padre in the media scrum? Is it Aaron Judge?
No, maybe if there's some incredible thing that's done, but for the most part, I'm here because, I cover the Padres and there's 5 Padres here, second most of any team. And that's what people in San Diego are most interested in. It's part of baseball's problem, really, is it's very provincial. But I guess something extraordinary could happen that for me, I would then go seek someone out, or if someone got in a fight with Manny, I would want to talk to that person. Or, I guess there's all sorts of scenarios, guys, that I could talk to someone else. But
you could start that, Kev. You could go whisper in some ears
really
and say, hey, Manny was saying this about you. He was saying that your mama stank, so go punch him.
There's a reason Manny doesn't get hit much. You know that, right? Like, no one wants to scratch that. No one wants to poke that bear.
This getting back to the Padres series win over the Phillies, finished the last game out against the Diamondbacks. Do you think that did enough to convince ownership to be buyers, or was that decision made up prior to that?
Sam, you need to read me more. They are buyers. Okay. There's no reason. I hate to take away talk radio topics. They are not going to sell. They're buyers. Now that said, I could come up with, just like you guys, I could come up with a whole bunch of reasons to say, hey, here's why they could be sellers or should be sellers or whatever. There's, really good talking points there. But if we're going to deal in facts, they're buyers. Now, what does that mean? How much money do they have? I'm not even sure they've determined that yet. It depends on the deals that come in. How much prospect capital do they have? Like, what does being a buyer mean for them? Like, who are they getting? These are the things we don't know, but they are not sellers. And they didn't get this far and build this roster and spend this money and be 8 games over 500 at the All-Star break to be sellers. It's just not going to happen.
This is going to sound like a silly question given what you just said, Kevin, but is there a chance that you are not sellers and yet Dylan Cease is still not on this team after the trade deadline?
Okay. Listen, I don't think that specific question. No, there's not a chance, because what are you going to do if, like, all of a sudden, you're trying to contend, you need that in the playoffs. Your basically only hope is that Dylan Cease does become Dylan Cease in the second half for you to be, I shouldn't say your only hope, but you need Dylan Cease to be Dylan Cease for you to perhaps make that playoff run. But certainly once you get into the postseason, right? You're not wanting, all due respect to some of the younger guys that have done well, you're not wanting them to be starting a playoff series game, unless something extraordinary happens. So you need Dylan Cease. So I do not see that. Plus, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to get back. Now, the idea of that being a sort of buyer-seller hybrid, where another team has a right-handed bat, let's say, that you really need, and you're going to deal from some position of strength. And is that Ryan Bergert? Is that Stephen Kolek? Is that, and I don't think so, because at this point, that bullpen is the backbone of the team. So I don't think it's I think that's been ruled out, that it'd be one of the relievers. But could you make a trade of a major league player to get a better bat? Yes, you could do that.
It's kind of a generic back to the All-Star game kind of question. I don't know if you heard the story, but Miz, the new hot pitcher for the Brewers, Phillies had massive problems with him making the All-Star game as a replacement after only 5 starts. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you think he deserves to be there or no?
If you had called it something else, and maybe that's semantics, kind of like the Clayton Kershaw pick, right? Where it's like, hey, this guy's amazing. Players are talking about him. Like, let's showcase this kid. And look at, we're going to be straight up. That's what he is. He's the commissioner's pick or something like that, right? Like the new showcase pick. Problem is you got to have one of those every year, and it's not always going to be, like this guy, right? But does he deserve to be here over guys who've done it for more than, where's he at? Do you guys know? Is it 8 starts? Is it 5?
5 games.
5, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Does he deserve to be here? I think the answer is a resounding no. But like in terms of on the merits of his performance, does he deserve to be here? Is he an incredible talent? Again, I put a lot of stock in this, who players are amazed by, and he's the buzz of Major League Baseball. that's awesome. And so, yeah, so then I say he deserves to be here. And you guys just got me to delve far more into any All-Star selection than I ever care to, because I really could care less. But I think it's really neat that got for them, obviously. But I don't know what you guys think, but I really feel strongly, if I'm going to get it all worked up, about both those things. He deserves to be here, but it certainly is not on the merits of what he's done. Like, I'm a big, there's a difference between a future Hall of Famer and a Hall of Famer, and one of them's in the freaking Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I actually think it's one of the smarter things Rob Manfred's ever done. And I don't think I've ever used all those words in the same sentence, but the dude is averaging like 99.8 miles per hour on his fastball. He's already thrown 89 pitches over 100 miles per hour. Like, I think it's a flashy move, and hopefully he gets out there and put some people down. Kev, you heading to the Waffle House or Ann's Snack Bar over the next 24 hours?
I doubt it. I won't be here for another 24 hours. It's probably, I don't know. I can look at my app and tell you when my plane takes off, but it's probably like 16 hours. So fortunately, that'll get me out, because I do love the Waffle House. But
wow,
I think the other 3 cities I'm going to have them, but no, I'm going to try and stay away. You guys ever been to the Waffle House?
Yeah, I've been to a Waffle House in Atlanta. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it's, I mean, really, honestly.
Kevin, what's your favorite city to go to travel to?
I think I know the answer to this one.
It has to be Chicago, just because I honestly, as you guys know, extremely boring. I basically work in my hotel room, I work out, and I go to the ballpark. But Chicago is a great city. I love to walk around it, and it has this place called Wrigley Field. So what did you think it was, Fletch?
I thought it was going to either be Chicago or Pittsburgh, because I know you've talked about how cool Pittsburgh is before.
Love me some Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and
love me some Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh might have, outside of Petco Park, the coolest ballpark in the country. It's just rad, dude. All right, Kev, good stuff. Enjoy Atlanta.
Yep.
We love you a lot.
Yeah. There you do.
We're talking over each other. This is good. He's already gone. Do you have the
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760? Brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
You really just told him you love him
every day,
and he hung up immediately.
He said, "I'm sure you do," and then he hung up. That used to be a running joke with Kevin, and then we finally got the "I love you" out of him.
It's a little creepy.
That was back in the Big Rich TD and Fletch days. It used to be much creepier, if that makes you feel any better.
Well, no, Rich and Travis were in here for a day. I know what it got so personal. They were asking what kind of underwear he was wearing.
Yeah, would you rather talk about that or talk about All-Star games? Honestly, that is a question to me, because I could care less about the All-Star game, and I think Kevin's in the same boat. It sounds like an absolute chore that he's even there.
Yeah, this is why I don't get for the Acee. It's like, go explore the city. That's the whole cool part of your job.
He's done it. Most of the cities that have Major League Baseball teams also have NFL teams. This has been Kevin's job for damn near 35 years or something. So he's been exploring all these cities for 35 years. I'm sure most of them he hates. He lives in San Diego.
But when we call Kevin Acee and we're traveling somewhere, I should have a list of recommendations of the best places to eat and things to do in that city from Kevin Acee, because he travels there all the time.
He'll tell you the hotel restaurant Caesar salad is really, really good. That's what Kevin will say. Now, you and I, we're in our 20s, Sammy. We're going to Vegas. We're going to explore. You better believe it. I already have a restaurant that I'm planning on taking you to.
Really?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
I'm not going to say that right now.
Okay.
Well, it's weird. It's on the Strip, and we're not actually staying on the Strip, so it's a little different.
Well, it's okay. We can go back and forth.
It's called Yardbird. It's at the Venetian. Oh, my God. It's amazing.
That place is fantastic.
It's so good. It's so good. The steak frites.
Hey, listeners, if you guys want to come out, let us know, dude. We want to see all you.
We'll meet up. Sammy will buy you a beer, probably.
Hell, I'll buy you shots.
Whoa.
Fletch,
I don't do shots.
Fletch, yeah, you do.
I don't do shots.
Fletch said he's going to bed early Wednesday night. If we get some listeners out there, then he can't go to bed because it's disrespectful to all you.
No shots, though. I'll have a whiskey on the rocks all day long. No shots.
You'd rather drink whiskey on the rocks than shots?
Absolutely. In a heartbeat.
But it's Vegas. You got to have a little tequila.
I'm not doing shots. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll close this thing down, get you ready for John and Jim, who, by the way, have Comic-Con badges to give away on their show today. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. That's it for us today. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. 2 o'clock, rapidly approaching. John and Jim got a pair of Comic-Con tickets for you. They are going to give away between 2 and 6 today. Kev was good today until the end there. That got a little clunky, but 858 saying the Padres have to be buyers. Why would AJ care about trading the rest of our farm team? His job is on the line. It is World Series or bust at this point. It's a valid text, and you're right. AJ Preller's job is on the line this year and next year, I would assume. I think his contract runs out at the end of next season. But what does he have to trade with is the problem. And I don't know that the Padres really have that much. Like, it's just going to be little supplemental pieces unless you're okay moving a big name like Dylan Cease. And like Kevin Acee just said, the best opportunity the Padres have is keeping Dylan Cease on the team and hoping that he turns back into Dylan Cease after the trade deadline.
Well, unfortunately, we keep going back to the Soto deal, and we're not saying you're having a revisionist history.
Well, you don't get Michael King or Luis Arraez without moving Soto.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But unfortunately, when you come to, teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets and the Red Sox, they can just refill their farm system because they're those teams. They can just go buy it. Unfortunately for the Padres, right, you don't want to, Sal's playing AA ball, and DeVries, that would be a massive, colossal mistake, I think, to trade him unless you just got some crazy young star that you're getting back that teams probably aren't dealing because they're trying to win a World Series themselves. So yeah, but to this, A58's point, I get from AJ Preller's perspective, there's no validation or no reasoning to sell off. From a Padres organization, from a fan's perspective, I think there's some motive there to sell off because listen, you may be at different points of this team. I think this team shows you what they are. They're very talented. They have the ability to beat top tier competition, but they're also not consistent. And to expect that all of a sudden at the end of the season, they're just going to be consistent ripping through everyone in the NL, I think is a little unrealistic with the team currently constructed as it is right now. But yeah, for the future, I'd say sell. If you think that this team has a legit shot to do something, then go all in and do something. I just think we keep going back to this. I think the worst thing this team can do is hold. I really think that is a massive misstep for the organization because I don't think they're good enough right now, and you're not recouping assets.
They might be forced into it. We will see what happens. That's about 2 weeks away now at this point. Tomorrow is one of the very, very rare days on the sports calendar where there's nothing in the Big Four. No hockey, no Major League Baseball, no NBA, and no NFL, obviously.
But do you know what we do to supplement that?
We got Petros Papadakis coming on the show. The Big P. Petros is coming on tomorrow at 1:30. Cannot wait for that. We'll talk some college football. We'll talk some NFL. We'll talk about life. Get some lessons from the Big P. Someone who's been doing it in radio.
He told me he's ready to talk about La Jolla.
Yeah, we'll talk La Jolla. Have you heard what's going on in La Jolla these days?
No, I don't know anything about it.
There's a pretty big stench overwhelming the La Jolla Cove, apparently.
Isn't that the best thing? Like, people deal with real problems in society, and everyone who lives in La Jolla, sorry if you live in La Jolla, but we all know you're well off. And the biggest... Are you not well off to live in La Jolla?
You are, but I worked in La Jolla for 2 years. You don't have to live there to be a part of La Jolla.
Did you own property in La Jolla?
Of course not, Sammy. Okay. I don't own property anywhere.
Exactly. So when the seals...
Talking to Gary Cooper about that.
Gary C, baby. Get you something in La Jolla. When the biggest stink is that the seal smell, if that's the worst thing going on in your life,
so it's actually
a pretty good life.
There's a whole article about this now. I can't remember where I read it, but it's the mix of the bird poop and the waste from the seals that has overwhelmed the La Jolla Cove, which is like, not even kidding. It's like Pebble Beach, La Jolla Cove. Those are the two most beautiful views you get in all of California, outside of maybe some in Yosemite. Yeah. Like, it is the perfect California. Like, when you see posters of California throughout the country,
everyone gets the La Jolla t-shirt. Yeah.
It's the La Jolla Cove.
But it's not the best beach in San Diego.
Because it stinks.
I would go PB. Encinitas is too crowded.
I'm a Black's Beach boy myself.
I like, Solana
I've actually
Beach
never
is
been.
Very underrated.
But I've heard there's a lot of nudity at Black's Beach. All right, that's the end of the show. Good job, Sammy.
SoCal Jayhawk said Roscoe's is opening in Barrio Logan after many construction delays. That just made my day.
What, just like 3 or 4 blocks south of Petco Park? Dude, you're going to be able to get some Roscoe's? All right, we're out. John and Jim next. Comic-Con badges on the line. Listening to John and Jim. San Diego Sports 760.